Hello, God bless you today. As a martial artist, copywriter, curriculum marketing consultant, and enlightener, I'm here to help you to understand value. Yes, that's right, value. The name of this message is called What About You and Value? Now, imagine this. There's a blind man that you're talking to. He's an elderly gentleman. Let's say he's 60 years old. And the other gentleman you're having a conversation with is about 40. Both of these men have led regular lives, nothing fabulous, nothing famous, and much to talk about. But you're talking to them because you decided to strike up a conversation with these gentlemen. So the elderly gentleman, that is about 60 years old, is blind, cannot physically see. The other gentleman that's about 40 years old, he's young, vibrant, very athletic looking. He can see, he can hear, he can talk. The blind man can talk and hear. So that's the scene we have here of this story. And you're talking about value. You're explaining to them that there is a difference between silver and gold, which is a precious metal, and a rare gem called Jerem Javite. Jeremejevite. I repeat that, Jerem Javite. Jeremjevite. Now, Jeremzavite is only found in certain places of the earth. And you're telling them this, and it's valuable because number one, it's rare. Remember, I said it's only found in certain places of the earth. You can't find it everywhere. It's not as available as silver and gold, which is a precious metal. However, Jeremdovite, because of its rarity, is more valuable than silver or gold. Now, Jeremdovite goes for $1,500 per carat. So if you had a 2 carat, it's $3,000, and just add on that 1,500 to each carat amount. It has good cut, good clarity, good color, and it's a good grade, again, because of its rarity. So you're explaining to them that if someone wanted to go on vacation and they took, let's say, a cruise, and they took about $3,000 to $4,000 because you can catch a cruise discount, maybe 1,500, and then you add all your other expenses. You're going to have about $2,000 to $3,000, and sometimes more, depending on what cruise ship you take, what time of the year, and things of that nature. So someone is going on a cruise and they're spending, let's just say $4,000 they take with them and use for the cruise. Now compare 4,000 to 1,500, talking about value, to Jeremjabite. They've heard about Jeremjabite before, the person going on the cruise, yet they took the $4,000 and went on the cruise, had a beautiful time, pictures and memories about it, but that cruise is not going to have any type of monetary value down the road. They could have taken 1,500 of that money, 3,000 of that money, and bought a 2 carat piece of Jeremjabite or a 1 carat for 1,500, took that stone, got the proper paperwork, knowing that it's IGS certified and IAE certified, which all valuable gemstones are. They're grade certified. So they take that stone, put it in a safety deposit box, and they keep it there for 10 years. So after 10 years, they decide to take that stone, auction it off. It will quadruple in value. Remember, it's a rare stone. and it's valuable. So I'm telling this to the blind gentleman and to the younger gentleman who can see, hear, and talk and is very athletic. So the blind gentleman says, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Ellis. You're talking about priorities, ethics, morality, and value. The value that we place on things, even people, even our own attitudes, actions, and beliefs. Values are highly important. And the younger gentleman responds and says, I don't see it. Here you have a blind man who can hear and talk, who understands value. And then we have a younger gentleman, 40 years old, very athletic, who can see naturally, hear naturally, talk naturally, and think for himself. He's not retarded. He doesn't have autism or anything like that. Nothing wrong with his brain. But yet he did not catch the value. He says, well, I would still go on a vacation. What I want with a stone like that? It's not going to do me any good. When he was just told that the value of those stones increase in time. What do they call that? Compound interest or the compound effect. Something very valuable to know and utilize in our personal lives, professional lives, especially if you're in marketing and branding. Now, I'm going to tell another short story. While I was teaching Sunday school with Church on the Rock, I was teaching the 10 to 13-year-olds. And I would come into the classroom and I would hold my head down and quickly review the lesson. While I'm holding my head down, the students don't know that I'm looking here and I'm watching them. Because of my training in martial arts, I have the ability to do what they call a bird's eyes view. I can watch someone and I can see every move they make from their head to their toe in full view. So that way, if there's a threat, I always see it before it launches off. That's real. So as I'm looking at the lesson, here is little Adam, a young little brother from another mother, probably lived in the inner city by his actions, I can tell, and my 13-year-old niece, Monique, throwing spitballs. He's got a straw. So they do that. And I say, I'm going to make them think I don't see it. I don't ignore it. I just don't address it maybe 5 seconds. Then they keep doing it. So I look up and I say, you, Adam, Monique, cut it out. Keep it up. I'm going to send you out to class. They come back the next Sunday. They do it again. Time after time after time. Finally, Adam says, after I straighten him out about maybe 3 times, 3 Sundays in a row, comes into the classroom the fourth Sunday and sits down and says, when I step into the room, out of his mouth came these words. Here comes the Terminator. Hey, Terminator, how you doing this Sunday? Built a rapport with this young man. My niece doesn't say anything. She sits down and is like, I got to be in this class, attitude, biological and all of that going on. But Adam understood the value of discipline in the classroom. You can't come in here and do anything you want. You're in this classroom to learn and hopefully apply now and later what you learn. This is valuable knowledge for you young people. This knowledge will keep you away from drugs, premarital sex, gangs, and all types of situations. It'll keep you from being kidnapped and molested because I taught lessons that were not just from a book. I applied it to their everyday lives. So it added value to their thinking, to their character, and to their belief system. Adam started calling me the Black Terminator. First he said Terminator. Then he said Black Terminator. I wasn't offended. I was shocked at first. This came out of his mouth, and I thought about the movie Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was the hero, and he was the good guy that destroyed evil. That's high value. Destroying evil, destroying problems, destroying negative situations using certain mindsets and certain concepts. So I said all that to say this. When it comes to our personal lives, what about you and your value? Do you value your own life to the point where you're not filling it up with drugs and you're not hooked on alcohol? You're not hooked on your own ego and causing problems as a single father or a husband or a single mother or a wife. It's important to put these things in check. So, what about you in value? Are you like the blind man who couldn't naturally see but can naturally hear and speak and understood as I explained to them the lesson about value between precious metals, which is good, and rare gems, which are excellent? Or are you like the younger gentleman, vibrant, athletic, young, able to naturally see, naturally hear, naturally talk, and move about without anybody helping him, but failed, made a quality decision not to understand the value of precious metals versus investing into a rare gem, going on a cruise, $4,000, and that cruise has no value except the memory down the road versus investing into even 1 carat, $1,500 into Jerimjavite, and you can take that stone, put it in a safety deposit box or safe, well hidden in your home. Best to have it in a safety deposit box because if somebody hears about that, they can try to do something stupid, and you may not live through the situation. Being real in today's times, take that stone and put it away in a safety deposit box. 5 to 10 years later, auction it off, and then it adds value monetarily, and it also shows value and discipline about your character, that you have patience, that you're a short and long term planner. These things are used in every business, even in the streets, and especially when it comes to marketing. Now, I've created a training course after 40 years of the martial arts, and martial arts has 22 business principles involved in them that you can transfer from the martial arts to digital marketing, copywriting, curriculum marketing, consulting, and many other areas. And the martial arts that I train in, I don't brag, I say this for valuable reasons. It is not for a trophy. It is not to show off. It is strictly self defense. What about you in value? I value my body. I don't fill it with drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't function off egotistical trips and things of that nature. I'm not bragging, I'm just being real to identify with someone out there. So that training helps in all areas: the discipline, the priority management, the flexibility, the creativity, the adaptability, the willingness to humble myself and learn from someone who knows more than me, following the experts in marketing and branding, and actually walking through the concepts, not just reading about the concepts, not just studying the concepts, but I had to do it. Point in fact, we'll be training a lot of times in the graveyard over by Yale. Somebody said, why a graveyard? Well, he was doing that. First of all, it was close to his home. He lived in the Ashland Street Projects, and I would hitchhike into town. And second of all, a lot of people at that time had a stigma of fear of a graveyard. So he would take us in there. We work out in the day and night, no cups, no pads. We couldn't afford it, first of all. Cups we could afford, but everything else we couldn't afford. So we didn't go with pads and protection and all of that. We trained single, solo, one on one spine, 2 on 1, 3-on-1 and 4-on-1. You got hit, you sucked it up, and you took it. We worked out between 7 to 8 hours, 80-degree weather, no water. Then we finally brought some orange juice and cookies, still 7 to 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. I would get Charlie horses in my legs so bad when I slept at night, I would wake up with this immense pain. I would get up out the bed, walk to the bathroom, punching both of my legs. I mean, my legs would lock up. And this would happen time after time after time after time. I stayed with that trainer for 5 years. And then we parted ways on a good note. But I kept training on my own and with other people, trained my son as well. My point is, by being consistent about what he showed me and what I saw, by me acting it out, it gave me competence, confidence in my self defense skills. And when I was with him, and I would come back to him after he would show me a technique or what we call a Carter, a set of movements, he would say, Mike, I can tell you've been working out. When we spar, I would get hit, but not as much as others. He said, well, I can tell so and so hasn't been working out. I can tell you've been working out by the way you use your defense skills, which opens up offensive skills. What about you in value? What are you doing? What are you reading? What are you studying on a consistent basis that adds value to your character, to your thinking, to your actions to be not just good, but taking them to another level of excellence? Are you willing to learn from somebody that knows more than you in a certain area? Are you willing to learn something new? Or are you willing to refresh off of a point that is important that you may have been neglecting through your marketing campaign, through your content creation, through your content strategies? Remembering the basics, he would always tell me, Mike, the basics get you over. Mike, I'm going to tell you this. There's a red belt at Yale. He's an Asian guy, thinks he's all that. So he challenged me. Somehow he heard about my instructor and he challenged him. And Mike, he tried to do this, and I hit him with a simple blow that he did not know. Basics. My instructor didn't go around with an ego. He didn't go around starting trouble. And he told me about another gentleman. Somehow they got into it. And he said, I ran the dude out of town, Mike. I ain't bragging. I ran him out of town. I mean, the guy, my instructor was 16 years old, but boy, he was phenomenal. Took me in back of when I first met him at the age of 14, took him back of this building. And he's asking me what I want to see. And I told him, do anything, because I didn't know nothing about it at that time. So he's going through his motions, got his shirt off. Back in the day, we had those shoes called the Marshmallows with the soft white heels, get them from fairs on Dixwell Avenue. Those who even remember that. Anyway, he's going through his motions, and I can barely see what he's doing. Everything, his kicks are blurry, his hand movements are blurry, his movements are lightning like speed, just quick. And I'm like trying to catch all this. Don't even know what I'm looking at. I know his foot's moving, his hands moving, he's spinning. All of a sudden, I lost track of him. True story. Right in back of where St. Martin's used to be near Ashman Street today. Those from that area know St. Martin's was a Catholic school. So I'm looking for him for a few seconds. Then look to the left, look to the right, look to the front. I don't see him. There's no bushes he can run around. The building's way over there. I know he didn't run that quick to get away from me. Talking about, what about you in value? I valued his instructions. I valued his input. He was teaching me this for free. So something said, look up in the air. And I looked up. This dude is about 8 feet up in the air, suspended, throwing, spinning heel kicks like a helicopter blade. Remind you, I was looking for him for a few seconds and didn't see him on the ground. He was suspended up in the air, kicking. Didn't make a sound while I saw his heel come. He landed. Poof! Didn't make a sound. Perfect horse stance. And I can see him controlling his breathing. "16 years old, from the projects." I looked at him. I was shocked. I didn't know whether to run, whether to faint, I was speechless. But like the blind man, I saw the value in what he had to offer for free. He would offer lessons to the guys in the projects for free who didn't even show up for practice. I never missed a practice. We never canceled. They did not value this free information. Information that educates you, that changes your character, that gives you a new perspective on life, personal life, and your business and career, and that you can leave a legacy to help others better their lives and use the law of multiplication and multiply that, multiply it, and offer it to someone else, whether free or for a price, is valued. What about you in value? What type of pictures are you looking at? What type of books are you reading? What type of experts are you studying? Or are you so worried about the COVID-19 situation you're freaking out in fear? One of the best ways to gain confidence and to get through a crisis is to have something valuable to focus on. And that's why I designed a course titled Introduction to Psychology. It's more than that. It's more than theory. It's actionable strategies that as you practice these strategies, it will better your thinking skills. It will better your creativity. It will better your character, even in your marriage. If you're single, male, it'll better you there. If you're a single woman, it will better your character. If you're a widow or widower, it will better your character. Why? There's focus, there's study, there's actionable strategies, walking through the process. Like my instructor learned from his instructor, who was dynamic, by the way, never met his instructor, but he always would tell me about the meetings they would have and the training sessions they would have and certain people that were able to do certain things phenomenal. And he was known in the Ashman Street area. He's a nice guy, but you don't want to go there with Lamb Chop. Lamb Chop's a beast. He's a warrior. Certain people have found that out. Five guys in particular, Howard Powell and his gang in front of the Q House trying to be slick. Took them all. No bragging. He took them all. Five of them. And when we were training, talking about you in the value, when we were training, I told you we would go one-on-one spine, free spine, two-on-one, three-on-one, and four-on-one. No pads, no cups. Sometimes in the day and also at night. It's harder to see at night. Your vision has to adjust at night. Dealing with a mugger or an attacker that you can't get away from at night adds a different element. That darkness plays psychological tricks on your mind and your brain. So that training is highly valuable. And that's why on my LinkedIn page, I'm a very detailed person. I list so many details because my training is intense. My study is intense. My actionable strategies are consistent and they're intense. They're effective. They're influential. They're persuasive. Just like the story I told you about with the blind man who understood the value between metals, and precious gems, the Jerimjavite. And the young man who was able to see, hear, and talk, and was normal, and failed purposely to not understand the value between investing in Jerimjavite, 1 or 2 carats, and going on a $4,000 cruise. So, training, even in the area of business or social skills, is highly effective. Let's take Mayweather. A lot of people don't like him. Say what you want. Mayweather has changed the boxing history. Financially, he's doing well. How did he get there? He quit school. He doesn't even have a college degree. I'm talking about what about you in value? His mother was going through some changes. His father went through some changes. So Mayweather said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to quit school. I'm going to support my mother. I'm going to box. He started at 3 years old with his father, taking him into the gym. and kept training and training and training. And because his father was a boxer, his uncle Roger, God bless his soul, was a boxer. Cousin Jeff, or Uncle Jeff, is still a boxer. Runs in his family. However, he didn't lean on that. He didn't lean on the Mayweather name. He put time, effort, and energy into training, actually doing it. He saw something, he did it. He is known as one of actually the best ever defensive boxer that ever existed. Even in our training, the first thing our instructor taught us is what his instructor taught him: focus on the value of defense. And when you focus on defense, you'll see your openings. He would tell me, Mike, God forbid if you get into a situation, just stand there and look at the guy. Let him run his mouth all he wants. Words, those words don't mean nothing to you. But when he makes his move, let it be his last. When he would repeat that, when he makes his move, let it be his last. When he makes his move, let it be his last. I knew what he meant, because I'm not bragging. In this art, there's only certain results. The attacker either gets knocked out, internal bleeding, they end up broken, or they end up not breathing. I'm being real. That's how we train. There's nothing about a trophy in this training. There's nothing about showing off in this training. There's nothing about egotistical in this training. So when I come forth with marketing skills and knowledge and revelation, you better trust it's real, tested, and effective, the same way that I train in the arts. It's the same way I train and activate in marketing. Back to Mayweather. So he's known as one of the best the best actually, defensive boxer in the world. And his marketing skills, promoting skills are phenomenal. He took $50 million and turned it into $9 billion through commercial real estate alone in New York City. He has gyms. He has his own gym. He has other franchise gyms he's opening up. He has some type of toothpaste on the market. He has clothing on the market. He's a trainer. He's a promoter. So he's multiplying by doing what? Not just thinking and talking about it, activating it. What about you and your value? What about your values? So I liken Mayweather to a mongoose and a cobra. And you know, a cobra is very fast. The cobra waits and it doesn't telegraph its striking. A cobra will sit there and go like this, and all of a sudden, strikes out. The mongoose is not a striking animal. The mongoose is the best defensive animal. You don't hear this much, but it's true. Look it up. It's the best defensive animal in the world, because one competitor of the mongoose is the spitting cobra and the striking cobra. Cobras try to feed on mongoose all the time. And if you look at any YouTube video, you'll see a cobra going like this, trying to strike at a mongoose, and the mongoose evading that strike, coming back and having that snake in its mouth, flipping it over, tearing into it, and killing it. What about you and value? What are your defensive strategies of content creation and content campaigns to promote your brand? My training course will help you to do all that. It will help you to know what you really have, clearly define it. It will tell you when to use it, timing, just like in boxing. Mayweather, defense, knowing when to go out, when to come in. Martial arts, knowing when to do this, when to do that. Timing, perfected timing. It will also help you to know where to use it. Should it be on Twitter now? Should I be on YouTube? Should I be on Instagram more? Shall I pull back from Pinterest or increase in Pinterest? It'll tell you all that. And it will also help you with research and critical thinking, like Napoleon Hill said. Don't lean on the school system, because if the school system was really meant to make people the most effective as can be, All or 99% of the students would graduate by the eighth grade and would be able to run their own enterprises. Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, quoted that, and it's true. The same way my instructor was at a dynamic level of not only teaching, but executing those movements and can use them in self defense. I've seen him not only in practice, but in real situations. I've seen him get off. And I had no problem walking through the projects when I was with him and when I was by myself because I knew I can handle. What about you and value? So it helps you to do that. It helps you, this training course. It'll make you more effective. So can you see it like the blind man, or are you going to miss it like the young man who can see? That's what I want to leave you with. Think about what Napoleon Hill said. Eighth grade, if the teaching in the school system was meant for people to be entrepreneurs, it would have happened. Now, those of you that have been into entrepreneurship for a while, those of you that are just starting out, this course will still help you to sharpen your skills and can give you insight that you're either not aware of or to remind you to dust off this concept and activate it right away for better results, to rank high with Google, to grow organic traffic, to generate more leads, and to increase in revenue. There's the focus of this training course. So you can contact me at Mike8828 at yahoo.com. That's Mike8828 at yahoo.com. God bless you, and I wish you the best of the best in all of your business endeavors. Bye bye.